Hey, it's Sam, and I'm making this full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo recording for you today. And this is going to be a very transformative time, of course, with full moons, particularly when they happen near the lunar nodes. We have eclipses, and that's what we have now. And so I'm going to be talking about this full moon in Virgo. It's a lunar eclipse, and a lot of big things happening in the world. And I'll also, foreshadow that it's if you wanted to get part of the member forecast, this is one of the levels where you would get this full moon for your sign for all 12 signs. I'll tell you about that a little bit as well. Please like the video. Clicking like helps a lot more than you know. It pushes the video higher in relevant video searches. Also, please leave a nice comment. Comments also help more than you know as it raises the video in searches. Many times with hundreds of likes, there are only a dozen comments and they can be disproportionately negative. So be positive. Let me know if you like this. Even just a few words really help. So subscribe, ring the bell to get notified of upcoming videos. So on March 24th and into the 25th, we have the full moon, the lunar eclipse in Virgo. Now, this is Ketu, the south node, eclipsing the moon in Virgo. Ketu, the south node, brings a lot of focus on detail, very critical, and sort of dissatisfied, only noticing sort of what's missing. It's somewhat negating. And the moon is our feelings, which wants that kind of integrated, harmonious nature. The moon is that aspect of consciousness that is innocent and vulnerable and open and just wants to feel that connection, literally wants to feel that connection to everything. And so that feeling of connection to everything and that desire to want to flow with everything as an aspect of oneness, and that feeling in our heart that everything is one. Again, that's what the moon is. Think of how all-pervasive that desire is to flow with that deep oneness, right? It's like your whole identity is to want to feel good, to feel connected, to feel love. It's like nothing feels better than to be flowing with that sense of, devotion and belonging, where you're not fragmented and I like this, I don't like that, I don't like the feeling. It's not the idea, it's the feeling. You go into a place and we're all emotional. We're like, oh, I know this person. So, there's someone I know. I'll go over there so I can feel connected. I don't know these other people. Oh, I'm just going to kind of stand back and wait. And we feel disconnected, let's say in a room full of strangers. We feel connected in a place where we feel like we're home, right? Like, okay, this is where I belong, right? Some of us belong. We feel like we belong when we're, like I feel like I belong on the tennis court. I like to play tennis. You see, it's kind of, I'm sort of getting some sun now, some sunburn here in San Diego, right? I feel at home there. I don't feel so at home, in a bar anymore. I don't feel at home in, on a shooting range, on a golf course. But let's say even like a social environment. Again, I don't feel as at home in a bar, right? I feel at home in an ashram, in a yoga studio. So but think of the feeling of not being in your environment, right? So this is very much what the moon is. Ketu, the south node, the moon's going to join it, and it's going to bring this scrutiny where we're like, do you feel at home? Do you feel whole? How whole do you feel? And again, it's a great opportunity when the moon gets near either node to then get into a deeper space with that, because we can focus on what allows us to feel whole, just as a general context of Ketu moon. I know a lot of people that have Ketu moon, and what that connection, what that does, like let's say in someone's birth chart, is they are really focused on what feels good to them. So that means that they'll push out the things that don't. They'll reject things that don't. Ketu is a very rejecting energy. No, not this. Right? We bring a lot of scrutiny and we reject the things that don't feel perfect, that don't feel like this is my real comfort zone. In a good way. It can be in an excessive way as well. But so that's the first thing to understand about this eclipse. And again, it's a full moon. So this thing is full. You look up in the sky that day and the moon is full. Then it gets eclipsed, where the shadow of the earth crosses over it and blocks it out. So that moon is full, and then it gets eclipsed. And it's in the sign of Virgo, which means when you're looking up in the sky. Now, you'll want to understand this. It's Virgo. We could say in Vedic astrology. But this means that the constellation of Virgo is behind the moon. This is not debatable. In Western astrology, it's Libra. So if you're going to show up here and go, hello, it's Libra. Hello, who is this guy? Libra. I will have to tell you, hello, it's not. It's Virgo. The stars behind the sun, behind the moon, are Virgo. It's the constellation of Virgo, the section of the sky called Virgo. Okay? So, hello, it's Virgo. And I know in Western, they say it's Libra, but that's not based on the sky. And that's not an opinion. It's also not a judgment. I'm not saying it doesn't work or whatever. I'm not getting into that. But it's just simply an observable fact. The Western astrology zodiac is not based on the sky. It's based on the seasons. By the way, this is why the Western astrology zodiac just started Aries. Aries just started because we had the vernal equinox. But guess what? The vernal equinox is not a zodiac sign. It's not inherently the zodiac. It's inherently the earth going around the sun. The zodiac is the sky. It has nothing to do with the earth going around the sun. It has to do with objects going through the sky, like the moon, looking at the moon in the sky and the stars that are behind it. So the Western zodiac starts the circle and calls Aries the vernal equinox. And it's like, it means when the sun is in Aries, it's the vernal equinox. But when you look in the sky, the sun is about 6 degrees of Pisces, observably. So I just want people to understand this as well. It's important that it's Virgo because the stars of Virgo are behind the moon at that time. Constellation, it's actually not even constellation or stars. It's a section of sky, 12, 30-degree portions of sky. That's actually what the zodiac is, not those constellations of uneven sizes. It's portions of space. The zodiac are portions of space, not stars. So, astronomy lesson, zodiac lesson, over. But it's important to know. So, but this Virgo energy is ruled by Mercury. It's an earth sign. It's about noticing all the details, all the practical details, all the details that we have to notice in order to recognize patterns and then make adjustments. So Virgo, again, this is what Mercury is, but through Virgo, these are internal, reflective, psychological, emotional approach to that aspect of life. So with the moon in Virgo, it's very much like we are organizing, which is a big Virgo theme, details, organizing them and worrying about them with precision, skill. Because you see, once we are aware that life is in the details, and it is, right? All these little details. We also recognize that there are some details that are very dangerous and they might get us. All details aren't the same, and particularly the dangerous ones. In Virgo, we're very vigilant to those dangerous details. Because the things that can hurt us are much worse than how the things that can help us are good. Think about it. This is why we're very easily manipulated and very aware of things that are dangerous, because the things that are bad that can happen to us are much worse than how good the good things are for us. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is like you might get killed, you might die, someone might torture you. The things that are bad are really bad. The potentially bad things are much worse than the potentially good things. The good thing is I might do this thing and I'll really like it, or it'll be amazing. Think of the best thing that could happen. It's good, but then it's done. Think of the worst thing that could happen. Whoa, that's really bad. So usually we obsess over the worst thing and worry about the worst thing more than we feel good about the good thing or the hopeful thing. And so Virgo is a good example of this. It's called a tamasic energy, where we're worrying about the things that we can't control, that we can't organize. So in this case, we're trying to like organize our emotional life, right? Sounds crazy, right? Organize our emotions. But our emotions are disorganized by nature. We're not organized emotionally. Emotions flow and it's watery flowing. But Virgo, a good metaphor for Virgo is like digging a channel. Like, let's say, like irrigation. The reason we've been able to literally like plow, grow our own food and do things like agriculture, which is very much Virgo. It's a symbol of Virgo. The Babylonian name for Virgo was seed furrow. Seed furrow. That was the Babylonians' name for Virgo. And it's representative of like taking a body of water and digging a channel, a groove, to bring the water where you want it to irrigate the fields. So you need the precision. You need to dig that precise channel. So this is a lot of what Virgo is about. So again, this full moon eclipse in Virgo is a lot of this potential to really look at your, let's say, emotional habits, emotional grooves, and understand them, and understand even how your feelings and emotions are maybe not serving you as well as you thought, or in some ways they are, or you need to be more connected to the heart. By the way, again, this is what I'm doing in the detailed member forecast for all 12 signs at the Lemurian level. Beneath this video, you see there's a join button and a subscribe button. Of course, subscribe to the channel, but when you click join, you're going to get access to the fastest growing Vedic astrology community on YouTube. You can see daily forecasts, weekly forecasts, and a lot of special videos that the members get. Again, it's very easy. All you do is you click join beneath the video. Most people get the Oracle 5D avatar level. It's less than $1 a day. You can stay connected. Tons of free videos that you get now, but also each week. Again, you can see all of the videos that you get where I do a Vedic forecast, a regular forecast, members only content. But again, it's very easy. Just click join. I talk about each of the 12 signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, because each of these signs are going to fall in a different place from this Virgo lunar eclipse. And by the way, at this Examiner Lemurian level, you get 2 of these a month on the full moons and the new moons. So that means that on this full moon, which happens to be a lunar eclipse, you get this update based on your sign, each of the 12 signs. But then in 2 weeks, when we have the solar eclipse in Pisces, you'll get another one. So every 2 weeks, you get this special forecast for your sign to keep you in alignment. And then 2 weeks from that, when we have the next full moon in Libra, and then 2 weeks after that, etc. So these are ongoing perks that you get as a member of the channel. It's not just get this and no, it's ongoing. This is why it's a real membership. So this type of emotional organizing and whatnot is going to be affecting each person a little differently. I can use a couple examples from the news recently. Again, we just had 2 prominent Cancer ascendants, King Charles, and most recently, Catherine, Princess of Wales, or as she's also known, Kate Middleton, have been diagnosed with cancer. Now, this full moon is happening in their third house. The third house is a house of needing to make adjustments, be flexible, figure things out in a new way, develop new routines, surprising, shocking things that show up in our life, right? Of course, that doesn't mean all Cancer people are going to have that happen, by the way. Another prominent, by the way, Prince William, this lunar eclipse in Virgo is happening in his 10th house, right? I've done a lot of case studies recently on both of them. And with Prince William, I did a case study showing this is just a time of enormous pressure for him. Because he also has planets in Virgo in his 10th house. Saturn and Mars, I believe, are there in his 10th house. They're getting eclipsed. And the solar eclipse shows that his wife, well, he's known for a while that she's had cancer diagnosis, but came out in public. So again, now for him now, it's all this public. That's what the 10th house is. So again, you can see how these things affect everyone. The former president of the United States, Mr. Trump, just had enormous shifts around his second house of money. He has a Leo ascendant, and Virgo falls in his second house. So this lunar eclipse is happening in his second house of money. He was supposed to stand trial on the 25th, but that got pushed back. But he also has Jupiter there. But again, in one sense, he has to come up with $500 million. In another sense, there was just a stock market deal that may, also give him a lot of money. So again, second house things of money, values are big for the Leo people. I'm just using this as a few examples of when you really want to be in alignment with these lunation cycles. Now, of course, they're not all as intense as the eclipses, but they're a lot more intense than you might think. And throughout the year, you're living your life in accordance with these lunation cycles, new moons and full moons. So this is a big one, again, of course, because it's also a lunar eclipse. So again, you can also get that, but at the examiner Lemurian level. And again, like for myself as Gemini, it's happening in the 4th house, which is very much about my home. I had to do, and I'm just thinking about it now. I don't think about these things all the time, but I just had to have my electrical switch box replaced, mandated by the city. It cost me like $1,000 or so to bring it up to code. That's 4th house stuff. So again, it's both an expense I have to make, but also a safety. It's an upgrade. It's like a modernizing. So again, this is very much the way eclipses can work. We have to pull something out, particularly the Ketu eclipse. They literally went in there and ripped my electrical box out and put a new one in, right? So sort of Ketu is scrutinizing, focusing, and then transforming. And again, this is the moon being eclipsed by Ketu, where we're going in there and having to really examine our emotional comfort level, comfort zone, the things that make us disconnected, pulling them out, and then hopefully transforming them in a deeper, more devoted way. And it's Virgo, which is about all this details, precision, worrying needlessly, and also having to communicate and either express our feelings to others or just within ourselves. And it's Hasta Nakshatra, where your dreams can be placed in the palm of your hand, and a sense of non-attachment, right? So that sense of non-attachment is also very big in the sign of Hasta, because it's the hand. And, the hand is like a magical thing. It's where we take something that it's a symbol of of skill and human ingenuity. And they say what separates us from the animals and whatnot. The opposable thumb, we were able to make tools and do all kinds of stuff that then allowed our cerebral cortex to develop and become smart, just so we could eventually hold a cell phone and then with our 2 thumbs watch cat videos and people tripping. Those are my favorite kind of videos. Cat videos are nice, but I mostly like to see people trip. I love watching videos of people tripping and falling down, particularly weddings. Those wedding fall videos Mwah! Sorry. But my opposable thumbs, without my opposable thumbs, that would be quite difficult. So thank God for my opposable thumbs. I can watch people trip on YouTube. Falling in the water, especially nice. Okay, anyway. But Hasta is the hand, and it's a symbol of skill, ingenuity, magic, manifestation, but also attachment and non-attachment, because we get very attached to the fruits of our labor. The goddess Kali, the fierce goddess, wears a garland of skulls because she's taken her head chopper and chopped off our heads to get rid of our ideas, all of our false ideas, and a skirt of arms. She chops off our arms, which is all of our attachments. So we have a lot of attachments to our ideas and our head and our hands and arms. Oh, this is mine, grasping and holding on. So we want to manifest and then give up the results, because we don't own anything here. We don't own it. It all belongs to the goddess. All belongs to the goddess. So this full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, very big. Again, if you want to know this for your sign, you can join at the Lemurian level. Many people actually join at the full 5D avatar level and get tons of other stuff. You can check that out. But again, it's about these details, organizing them, worrying about them, but developing precision and skill emotionally. Again, yeah, it's kind of tricky. And where your dreams can be placed in the palm of your hand, but with non-attachment, non-grasping. And it's Ketu, which is also bringing a lot of scrutiny. So again, I hope this was helpful. And if you want to get that forecast for your sign, then just sign up for the membership at the Examiner Lemurian level. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.